Hi, this is Paul Evans of Resource Analytics, and today we're going to do a very quick demo of how to use local housing data to compare market conditions in different towns. Starting off on Raveis.com, we are going to scroll down to the current market conditions section and click on local housing data. This brings us to the local housing data search page. And we are now going to click on a state, and for this demo we're going to do Connecticut, the city of New Haven. So there's New Haven, and for purposes of comparing towns, the first thing to remember is we need to have more than one town to compare. And since people usually want to compare towns that are near each other, we're just going to click on the Find Other Towns box. And we're going to leave it at the default of finding other towns within 10 miles. Click on search, and the system brings us back a set of towns that's within 10 miles of New Haven. And this gives us a number of current listings that are on the market, average list price, average number of bedrooms, average number of square feet, and a couple of other fields. So we're going to try to find other towns that have an average list price somewhere near that of New Haven. So New Haven is a little over $255,000. So Hamden's $255, Derby's $242, Seymour $260, and let's pick one more expensive town. We'll take a look at Shelton. You can select up to 8 towns here, and once you've selected them, click on Get Market Data. This brings you to the standard overview page that gives a matrix of current statistics, as well as several key charts: unit sales, median sale price, market time, and inventory. But for purposes of today's demo, where we want to compare, we're going to click on the Analyze button. And this brings us to a chart where we have a number of choices of statistics to compare, and we can compare multiple towns at the same time. So we start off with, we had chosen New Haven as a town, and we're now seeing a chart of unit sales in New Haven. So, well, for purposes of right now, we're really more interested in looking at prices than we are sales. So let's click on median sale price and then click Update. And the system now shows us what median sale price has done in New Haven over the past several years. One of the choices we have here, now the chart currently is showing us monthly data. One of the choices that we have is to average this data over longer periods of time. And I'm going to choose 12-month averaging. So that gives us a chart of the trailing moving average median price over the past 12 months for New Haven. And what we now want to do is see, okay, we can see how New Haven prices have moved. How have they moved in the other towns we may be interested in? We can see starting a few years ago, Derby started off higher and is now close to New Haven. Hamden started off even higher and has maintained its value pretty well. We'll look at Seymour, and then we'll look at Shelton. And as expected, Shelton's coming in higher and has really maintained its value pretty well. So this is showing the value of the median price, and suppose we want to see how that's trended over time. Click on the percent change button, click on Update again, and the system is going back and retrieving data for all the towns and percent change data so that we can see how, starting at the same point in time back in December of 2010 and moving forward, which towns have done better and worse than other towns. Coming out to present day, we can see that Derby has dropped 25% over the last few years in terms of median price, whereas New Haven itself is about breaking even versus where it was several years ago. And the other towns are, up and down by various amounts, as you can see. Another interesting indicator of value is price per square foot, which is another choice here. So we're going to choose median sale price per square foot. We're also want to look at values first on this. Click the update button and the system retrieves the price per square foot data and brings it back. And on a price per square foot basis, we can see that Shelton is near the top of the list, so you're going to pay about $160 and recently close to $170 per square foot. And at the bottom of the list is New Haven, so at $112 a square foot. So what that means is you get more bang for your buck, more square feet for the dollar in New Haven. Shelton's a little pricier and the other towns are in between. Let's take a look now at the percent changes in price per square foot to see how values have changed over the last few years. We click the update button. System brings back a chart of changes since December 2010. And we can see out here that Derby has dropped about 20%, Hamden's down 11%. New Haven, even on a price per square foot, is just about breaking even compared with where it was several years ago. Looking forward, if we're considering buying in one of these towns, we may want to look at what months of supply is, because months of supply, if months of supply is a high value, that's an indicator that market conditions favor buyers, whereas if months of supply is lower, in other words, supply is very tight, that's considered to be favorable for sellers. So Derby has a high value of 11, not a good indicator for Derby going forward. Other towns are tied right around 9, which is a middling to decent number. So I would say at this point conditions are relatively balanced between buyers and sellers in the other 4 towns, and really favoring buyers a little bit more in Derby. Similarly, we can look at market time. So if we're considering selling in one of these towns and we want to know how market time compares, we can see that once again, Derby is not quite as good as the other towns so recent sales have averaged about 97 days on the market. Best performer here is Seymour, where properties have sold have gone off the market in about 77 days. So that wraps up our brief summary of how the comparison feature works in local housing data. Thanks for your time and attention today.